hot today. So I am working on this. I think it's a 96 Legacy today, and she needs a clutch. I'm probably gonna do a timing belt while we're in there. I am sweating my life away because it is a million degrees in here, and of course the sun is falling right there, right where I'm standing, so right in the sun from the skylight up in the ceiling. But I sort of wanted to talk about how to stay efficient when working on cars. Now this mostly applies for people who are working on cars really often, or if you're wanting to get started working on cars really often. And the first way to get efficient when you're working on cars is to essentially work on the same cars over and over again. So in my case, I work on mostly Subarus, and because of that, I sort of know what I'm getting into no matter what. So ideally, every time I'm working on a car, I like to start with a nice clean space around the car. I like my workbench to be completely clear, which right now it's mostly clear besides the parts that have already come off of that car. And then I take my cart and I fill it up with the tools that I know I need. So in this case, since it's an older model, I need like a Phillips head, flathead, 10, 12, 14, 8mm sockets and wrenches. And then that's essentially it. Now I throw a couple extensions on there as well as my little cordless impact. And then if I ever need another tool, then I just go and grab it out of the box and put it back in when I'm done with it. Therefore my cart stays perfectly clean. You can see there's like barely any tools on it right now, which is good because then I can throw some bolts on there, hardware, and then I move it over to my workbench and keep it nice and organized so that I don't lose anything. Obviously this isn't the case for all cars, or all people rather, because a lot of times you'll be working on multiple cars. However, say if you're working on a car that you've never really worked on before, and you find that you undo a 13mm bolt. Now most likely if you're doing a job that's going to be taking a bunch of stuff apart, like pulling an engine, there might be a couple more 13mm bolts by chance. Usually manufacturers will stick with similar fasteners, so like Subarus, like I said, you really only need the 10, 12, 14, and then occasionally 17 and a couple other sizes like a 19 for ball joints and stuff, and 8mm for hose clamps. But besides that, really 10, 12, 14, 17, and that's just about it. So when you're working on a car that you've never worked on before, when you pull a tool that you think is going to be continually used, leave it on your bench or on your cart or whatever you're using, and then you'll have it there with you. Now if you don't know what size a bolt is and you go and grab say like a 13, 14, 15 because you know it's somewhere in that range, and you figure out it's a 14mm, we'll take the 13 and the 15, put them back right away, then you won't lose tools and you won't be reaching for those later. The biggest thing is to stay clean though. Whenever you're working in like a messy environment, it's really hard to stay efficient and obviously organized because it's messy. And when you're organized, you're not running around searching for tools the whole time, you're not leaving them in places you shouldn't and then wasting half an hour looking for your 10mm, so it's very important. Here's one of the factory starter bolts on this car, which is a 14mm. And I couldn't get a 14 on the other one for some reason, so I looked at it from the bottom side, and this is what was on there, which obviously isn't the same size. So it was a 17, which I didn't have on the bench, but grabbed one out of the box, put it back when I'm done, because I want to keep my workspace nice and clean and just the stuff that I know I need. Now this should be the only 17 I have to deal with this for this entire project, at least for now. So I can just go and grab it when I need it again, rather than having it there and possibly grabbing it in the wrong scenario. I know that my front door is actually behind the garage. Alright, so I'm going to sit in the one of the brackets. Roof line. Roof line? Oh, dude, that's perfect. So that's Colin, who's a cool kid who's a neighbor to my shop, and he is, I guess, putting a $100 wing on his E36. To each their own. I'm honestly surprised that he could get that thing for $110 shipped, considering it came in a box, you know, like 6 feet long. Like, that blows my mind that you can ship something, presumably, I mean, definitely manufactured in China, all the way here for 110 bucks. It's pretty crazy. So when you're working on cars and you want to stay efficient, you also need to make sure you're not making more work for yourself. You can take this in a couple different ways. The first way is don't break anything that you're sort of working on. If you're going too quick, break off a bolt or break a part by slamming a wrench against it or something, then you're creating more work for yourself in that now you have to replace that, extract that bolt, go buy that part, whatever, and it costs you money. And another way you can interpret it is by sort of finding ways to make your job easier. So in the case of Subarus, when you are removing the engine, it's totally unnecessary to drain the power steering fluid or get rid of any coolant or refrigerant rather in the AC system. Instead, you can unbolt the power steering fluid reservoir, the AC compressor, and just put them to the side. So put the power steering where the air box is, put the compressor where the battery sits, with the hoses all still completely attached, and then pull the engine out around them, and then you don't have to deal with the problem of refilling those systems whenever you're done. You know, I think this clutch might be bad. Now it doesn't look absolutely horrid, besides the fact that it's all cracked and falling apart, until you turn it over and there's no material left. It is just metal. And then you get to the pressure plate. That's where the fun really starts happening. I think we might be missing a piece here. And you know what? I don't even see it. I don't know where it went. This whole thing is falling apart though. I didn't even know they could come apart like this, but it is completely toast. Where's the other piece of the pressure plate? I wonder if it's behind the flywheel. Wow, that is in bad shape. Really bad shape. No wonder it wouldn't move. So the people I'm doing this work for wanted me to let them know if there's any other work that I thought should be done. Now the head gasket is leaking oil on this side, but I doubt they want to put that money into the car considering it's still holding compression and everything, it's just oil. However, I pulled the timing covers off. Let's see if you guys can see that right. Oh yeah, there we go. I think the timing belt might need changed. It was all covered in rust and stuff too, all the dust in there from who knows what. So I'm surprised it's made it this long. I'm pretty sure it's over 140,000 miles on this timing belt, so definitely needs changed. So hopefully they say they want me to do it, because I would feel bad letting this car go without it getting replaced. So a few weeks ago I uploaded a video called Why You Need to Change Your Timing Belt on Time, something along those lines. And I was working on a Subaru doing a timing belt. Actually, I was doing heads on it because the timing belt had failed. One of the idler pulleys had seized up and caused the valves to smash into the cylinders. So I had to install new heads on it. And I was looking at the timing belt, and it was like one of the worst ones I'd ever seen that hadn't itself failed, because the timing belt was still intact for the most part. But I'm doing this car, and this one is actually worse. So let's see. Get it to focus. Not only is it cracked like crazy, it's missing chunks from it in places. Let's see. And it hadn't failed yet. And this one only has like 140,000, which only, I mean, that's a lot for a timing belt, but the other one had like 170 on it, I believe, because it was the factory timing belt. And this one's an OEM Subaru one as well, but their service records show that they had it changed at one point. It's really squeaky too, like, let's see. Oh, and it is like squaring up whenever I bend it. And whenever I was turning the crank to put it to top dead center before I took it off, and it was like squeaking all over the place, so I can't imagine what it sounded like. Or, I guess it sounded pretty normal, but yeah, definitely time to go. The pulleys were a little bit nasty too, but actually seem to be okay. They're getting replaced though, because they have a ton of miles on them. So, since I'm doing the clutch as well, I need the flywheel to be resurfaced. Here's the flywheel that came out of it, and I already scuffed it up with a Scotch-Brite pad, so that's why it doesn't look horrible. But I can't find anyone in town that will do, that is really bright, that will resurface my flywheel today. It's a Saturday, so everywhere's closed apparently, and nowhere has a lathe to do it. And looking closer at this, let's see. It's got some pretty bad stress fractures in it, especially like up here. Those go pretty darn deep, and it's got these real bad hot spots and stuff. So I'm just gonna go replace it. My homie up at O'Reilly's has one in stock, and considering this thing got this hot to disintegrate like that, I have a feeling it might not be too bad of an idea to just swap it out. So we're heading there. It's my buddy Austin. You may have seen him before on the channel. He's been in a couple videos. He's got a 240 with a 2J, or is this a 2J? Yeah, it's a 2J, decent sized turbo, and some crazy Weds crayons, like 18 by 12s that he's running on it. So I need to make more videos on that car because that thing is badass. But let's go pay him a visit. All right. Finished up the Subi out there. It's pretty simple. Those engines are real simple when it comes to Subarus, so that is all finished up. As you can see, we now have Colin's car up in here, which is getting that wing. So basically, the stands for the wing are like, if you started here, it would go all the way to here. So we're going to make some gussets that go onto the trunk, and sorry for the microwave. Either weld or bolt them onto this trunk so that it can actually stand all the way on there rather than just look awkward and floating off. So yeah, he's going and grabbing the wing from his house right now, and then we're gonna do a little fabrication. Colin's back.
Sup guys? Not acting weird in this video.
Okay. We just measured how far out it's gotta go for the stands because it's got bolt holes in the wing. We're 16.5 inches out on both sides.
Luckily, this windshield wiper for you TI owners wanting to have a wing, dead center in from the trunk deck lid. Can't talk.
I thought you said UTI owners.
Yeah, for your utility. Oh, urinary tract infection owners.
So now we need where are those mounts at?
We got one bracket in here.
They're in the car.
Austin, the guy on the phone out there. So, got these guys. Does he have the other bracket?
Here, let me. So we realized that the best option is probably to bolt the wing completely together.
All together.
And then center it on there so that we don't screw it up at all. So now we get to assemble. This has nuts in it too.
Yep, nuts, bolts, Allen wrench.
$110 and you don't need anything else.
$110. Link will be in the description.
Oh
well. No? I guess not.
Too much work.
Too much work. I'll send you the link tonight. Yep.
So the wings all assembled, and it hangs off the edge of the trunk because it's a
Smashback.
Smashback. So we got to make a gusset, but we have it marked. You can see the mark right there, and then we're gonna make a plate here and then a gusset that goes to the trunk. So we just have to measure this, cut a plate that size, and then a triangle that will go to the trunk essentially.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. coming down.
So, excuse the audio because it's pouring rain and there's not much I can do about it. But I cut out these triangles. These are going to be the gussets. This is going to be where it's welded to the car. And then these plates right here. And there will be a hole drilled in there. And that will be how we bolt the wing on.
Yep, so let's do this.
It may just work like that actually. Those are hot as balls.
Man, I broke the YouTuber rule. I looked into the camera.
What are you talking about, YouTuber rule?
It's a YouTuber rule. If you're trying to do a skit or something funny,
Oh.
you can't look into the camera. I'm practicing right now. It's really weird doing selfie shots. How do you do this with this DSLR? Like that? You know,
Yeah.
you gotta look into the camera. You can't look at yourself over here.
Yeah, you gotta look into the lens.
You have to look into the lens. You have to talk to your fans. Hi, Spencer's fans. I'm Colin. If you haven't been watching this whole episode.
I don't have any fans.
You have a lot of subscribers.
No.
Hey, dude. You have like 5,000. 4,000. You had 4,000.
400.
What? You know how many my band page has?
How many?
5. Like Tonight Sunrise. Description down below. Link
I'll put that one down there.
in the description down below.
Alright, so we got these brackets. They're just bolted on, and then we're gonna run a bead on either side. So there she is. They're bolted on nice and tight, nice and good clearances and stuff, I guess. Whatever. Yeah, throw a couple beads on there and she'll be good to go basically.
100. Oh, you still? Did you press it? Oh, sorry. 110 bucks plus like what? $3 for hardware? Because it wasn't long enough. What it came with?
And a couple of bucks in steel.
Yeah, a couple bucks in steel. So I think 100. What do you say? 120. Call round up to 10. Full on FD legal GT ring.
FD legal.
Probably not. It's DOT regulated. So
Is it actually?
yeah, this is a DOT regulated company. This is a full on legal wing.
You sure they're not lying?
That ain't TV, so it's probably very much so.
You never know.
So you just get under here, and you sit right here, right? This is my plate placement. Oh, there's paint dust from grinding. But no, yeah, so you have your sauerkraut over here, your schnitzel right here. You know? Great, smorgasbord. I have to do a limbo to get out of here. Little did you know, limbo trip.
Whoa, I'm real dirty.
Yeah.
It's still got to get painted and stuff, but I got to get out of here. So that's as far as we're going to take it, but it looks pretty good and it's nice and solid, so.
Just wait till it has a tail light. And it's gonna look a lot better. And I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna do that on my side. I don't have a card channel, but I did play music, and you're probably gonna hear some sick ass music on this.
You gotta do my intro, bro.
Yeah, I still gotta do that. We'll
do it.
do that. Yeah, we'll do that. Here, like right now. TI, it's gonna tear open the sky. I'll be because of this guy. Well, we're working on my Beamer and we are just tearing up this shit. My dad will be mad, but he can't, so good. Cause it's my car now, my big wang gets me all the chicks in town. My big wang doesn't really help for my downforce, cause I don't go fast. I don't go fast, oh no. But that's okay, cause at least I look cool.